Welcome to part 2 in this Q&A episode. There is going to be a bonus episode coming out as well, but I had to split this Q&A episode into 2 parts because the video went on for ages and it would have took me a while. It would have took me about 4 or 5 hours to upload the video, so that is why I did split the Q&A episode into 2 parts. Hopefully you do enjoy this video. Don't forget to check out part 1 and don't forget to get involved with this series by leaving your question in the comment section of this video, but I'm just going to get on with part 2. Riley Legend 1000's question is, what do you like better, Splatoon 1 or Splatoon 2? This is definitely a tough question to answer just because I really did enjoy Splatoon 1. I would say that I was kind of thinking when I first played Splatoon 2 that I preferred Splatoon 1 just because I got into easier lobbies and of course I had more fun like dominating those lobbies. But I think the reason for that is because obviously in Splatoon 1 you just had one ranked meter, but in Splatoon 2 you have individual rank meters for each individual ranked modes. I think in Splatoon 1, I was sort of hovering around the B minus sort of A area. I think A was the highest I got. I am currently sitting at A for every single ranked mode at this moment in time. And I can remember when I did get into A rank on Splatoon 1, I can remember getting into harder lobbies than when I was like in B. So that sort of might have tainted my opinion to start off with, but I do prefer Splatoon 2 just because I think it is more fairer and I think it is less frustrating. Just because in Splatoon 1 I kind of felt like it was dominated by rollers all of the time, but I feel like in Splatoon 2 you don't really see that many rollers. Granted, in Tower Control and Splat Zones you do see the Splat roller quite a lot. That is quite frustrating when you do run into it. But in Splatoon 1, the rollers, like every flipping roller dominated the lobby. Like you saw everybody use all of the rollers and not just a splat roller. So that was kind of frustrating in the first game. The special weapons in the first game were really frustrating to come up against. It was really frustrating when you put like 4 or 5 ink shots into somebody and then they popped off their bubbler and killed you and you couldn't do anything about it. The same with the Kraken. That was really frustrating as well, and I guess with the Ink Zuka it's harder to sort of escape that than the Ink Jet. So I kind of feel like Splatoon 2 is more fairer, like in terms of the general multiplayer, and Splatoon 2 I find more addictive just because you've got the single player, salmon run and multiplayer. They are all linked and I am addicted to getting more multiplayer tickets by playing salmon run. So yeah, the fact that they've got Salmon Run in there, it just makes me prefer Splatoon 2 over Splatoon 1. But I definitely did enjoy Splatoon 1. I had a blast playing Splatoon 1, but I definitely do prefer the changes that they did make in terms of the special weapons. It's like they've got the baller, you can shoot that and you can destroy the baller, whereas with the Kraken it was you could like shoot the Kraken, but it was hard to deflect them away from you. So I kind of feel like Splatoon 2 is more fairer, and with Salmon Run and the fact that you can unlock multiplayer tickets, I just find that more. I know I just get more invested with Splatoon 2, but I definitely did enjoy Splatoon 1, and this was definitely a hard question for me to answer. But yeah, I do prefer Splatoon 2 over Splatoon 1. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this. I know some people are not a fan of Splatoon 2. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I guess one more thing to say about Splatoon 2 is that they've added in like the ink rails from Splatoon 1's single player. Maybe they could add in like the rails where you do like grind on in the Splatoon 2 single player. I definitely would love to see that happen, and maybe they will do that in like a Shifty Station stage. And also that is another thing, by the way, Shifty Station, the fact that they've got an exclusive stage for the Splatfest, that again makes me prefer Splatoon 2 over Splatoon 1. I think Splatoon 1 was a really great start to the series, but I think Splatoon 2 has done a really good job improving on all of these elements that were in Splatoon 1. The next question comes in from Cooper Trooper Pooper. I'd just like to thank you for supporting the channel, just because I know you have been subscribed to the channel for a long time. It is going back probably like 2 or 3 years now, so I'd just like to thank you for supporting the channel for as long as you have done. I really do appreciate your support, and of course I just want to say I appreciate everybody that does watch my videos as well, but I'd just like to give a special thank you for, Cooper Trooper Pooper for sticking by the channel for that long. So Cooper Trooper Pooper's question, it's a really good question by the way, but their question is, what are the possibilities for Splatoon spin-off games, and what new game mode idea would you want added in Splatoon 2? Spin-off games, I think they will do like a Just Dance sort of karaoke sort of version for the Japanese market, where it includes all of the best Splatoon music, and you get to see the Squid sisters and Off the Hook on screen, and you get to sing along to them and perform their dance moves. So it's sort of like Just Dance Splatoon version, but I think this will only be released in Japan. Another idea for a spin-off game is include all of the arcade games that were in Splatoon 1. They could release that as a spin-off game on the eShop. That would be really cool to see that happen. And related to that, I think in one of the Splatoon trailers we saw a 2D sort of arcade game, and I do believe it was never released in the final version for Splatoon 1. So I think they could do a 2D platformer for Splatoon 1, and maybe they could do a dual release, kind of like how Captain Toad Treasure Tracker and Sushi Striker is releasing on both Switch and 3DS, but I could see this 2D platformer based on Splatoon released on the Switch and 3DS, and I think this could be a really cool spin-off game. That's just my idea for a spin-off game, and pretty much somebody did make this game and it did pitch it to Nintendo, but Nintendo didn't accept this idea. So maybe they could go back and accept this idea and create it themselves, and not get like a third party indie dev to create it. Maybe they could create a 2D platformer themselves. That would be really cool to see that happen. That's just my idea for like a spin-off game. I can't really think of any others from the top of my head. In terms of new game modes, I already made a video early on in the week discussing this, but I do have some more ideas. I think they could do a variation to Splat Zones, where instead of the Splat Zone being static, maybe they could do a game mode where the Splat Zone will sort of rotate through various positions on the stage. That would be really cool to see that happen. And I've got like a hot potato sort of idea, where maybe they could include that sort of item from the Splatoon single player, where where you shoot it, it does shoot off a load of ink around the surrounding area. Maybe they could include that within its own game mode, and it's sort of like hot potato, and you got to pretty much hold it for as long as possible, and if you hold it then you pretty much get points for your team, and the first to so many points will complete the objective and win the match. But basically you can only hold it for so long before you have to pass it to your teammate, and if it does explode, then it will explode in the enemy's ink, and that will give them the advantage to pick up this item and start to hold it off for themselves. And if you do get destroyed, then maybe you would sit out the whole match. That's a rubbish idea. I haven't really thought it through, but maybe this idea could work. Maybe they could do like a hot potato sort of mode, where you got to hold it for as long as possible, and you will get points for that, but also you got to pass it off to your teammates, otherwise you will get destroyed, and that's it. You will have to sit out the match pretty much. Pretty rubbish idea. I think the Splat Zone sort of variation mode is a better idea than the hot potato idea, but that's just some more ideas that I have come up with. That Splat Zone's variation mode, I've had that idea since the first game, so maybe they could do that. Maybe they could do like a domination sort of game mode as well. The next question comes in from Jatin Joge. Do you think that all the old weapons and stages will be moved to Splatoon 2 from Splatoon 1? And do you think the Splatoon 1 specials will be moved to Splatoon 2 when it is shut down? I think they will release all of the Splatoon 1 weapons and stages, but I don't think they will release the special weapons unless they do it within like a retro playlist. I think it will only be included within its own playlist, just because, like what I mentioned earlier, the special weapons were a little bit unbalanced within the first game. Yes, they were really fun to use, but they were really annoying to come up against at the same time. And I think what they did do with Splatoon 2 is sort of do variations to those special weapons and, you know, make fairer special weapons based on the special weapons that we did see in the original game. So I don't think they will add them into the general multiplayer, but I think it would be cool if they did do like a retro playlist, so it is in its own playlist. Or maybe they could do like a Splatfest where it is just special weapons from the first game. Maybe they could do that. But I don't think they will add it in the general multiplayer. But I know a lot of people will love to see the special weapons from the first game get added in. I would love to see the Inkzooka return as well. That would be really cool to see that return. I do prefer that over the Inkjet. But like what I said, I think the main purpose for Splatoon 2 is to make fairer special weapons based on the Splatoon 1 sort of specials. So I don't think we will see them in the main multiplayer. Epic Alex Bros question is, what about new specials? I've got an idea for like a flamethrower sort of special weapon, and it does take 2 or 3 hits to splat an Inkling or Octoling, and pretty much you will run out of ink quickly, but it is possible to take out the whole team with this special weapon. But pretty much all of the enemies will have to be, you know, closely bunched up together, and you pretty much have to be deadly accurate with it as well, otherwise you won't completely splat the whole team. So you have to be deadly accurate. It takes 2 or 3 sort of, maybe 3 or 4 actually hits to splat someone, and I think that could be a cool way to add in a flamethrower sort of special weapon and keep it balanced at the same time. And the last question comes in from the Meme 5. Which one is better, Pearl, Marina or the Squid Sisters? And if there is a DLC for the Salmon, do you think it will be called Salmon Expansion? Now the first question is really tough to answer. I can't really choose between the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook. I would say that I do prefer Off the Hook's music, but having said that, the Squid Sisters have got some flipping great music as well. I just can't flipping pick between the two, I really can't. I know that is sitting on the fence, but I like them both equally, I really do. I seriously, I really do. I like both the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook. I like their music, I like the character design, and I like their dialogue as well, I really do. I like them both the same. Seriously, I just can't pick. I really can't pick. And in terms of whether they do introduce a Salmon DLC and it being called Salmon Expansion and maybe introducing Salmonlings, I'm not so sure, to be honest with you. I think they will just keep Salmon as what they are. I don't think they will probably explore it within its own DLC. I guess it all depends on what they will do with the Octo Expansion, just because there is a possibility that they could sort of include and go into the relationship between the Salmonids and the Octolings. So maybe they couldn't really do a Salmon DLC, but I would definitely love to see that happen. I don't think they would ever do Salmonlings, just because like salmon, they are very different to squids and Octolings. They're not really that intelligent, so unless they introduce more intelligent salmon, then I don't think they will like do Salmonlings, but maybe Salmon DLC is possible. So that is it for this video. What I'll probably have done, because this video has gone on for so long, I'll probably have done like part 1 and part 2. Probably have split this video in half and done part 1 and part 2 for this Q&A episode. I probably might have to do the same for the next episode as well. So just like to thank you all for watching this far, but that is it for this video. Don't forget to get involved by leaving your questions in the comment section below. And that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.